Hello, this is Vampire. I was just watching a YouTube video of this martial arts instructor who, I basically I respect the guy and I like the guy, but it was sad for me to see that what I saw in the video, I felt like he was on the wrong path. And it's easy for me to sit back here and criticize somebody else. So let me I want to apply it to myself. To me, that's always the more fair than to just sit back and critique, right? So, um, when someone is questioning you, right, and they're questioning your past videos and stuff, you instead of going, "Hey, you don't know more than me. I know more than you." Don't get suckered into that. To me, that's the wrong path. And then to go, "Hey, you know what? These are my instructors. Let me tell you why I know more than you, because my instructors are amazing. Let me show you who my instructors were." Right? When I look at my own background, for example, I am a second generation Professor Remy Presas student. I am also a second generation Professor Salem Asli student in Savat. And I am a first generation Carlos Machado student. So I could say all these things, right? So what? All those things, those things are just when someone wants to check my resume, they look at it and they go, "Oh, you seem like you're real. Okay, you seems like you did the real training. All right." It's just a surface check. That's all that is. That's all that is. It looks good on the if you have certificates, you have belts or whatever. It just looks good on the wall. It's just a quick scan for someone to see and go, "Oh, okay, looks like you're the real deal." That's it. They're not. They shouldn't even be sure. It's like going to a doctor's office and you see the diploma on the wall. That's it. It's not like you called and made sure that was real. No, but on a surface check, yeah, it's cool. That's it. That's all it is, right? And just because, like, if let's say Hoist Gracie was my teacher, does that mean I'm as good as Hoist Gracie? Of course not. Does that mean I'm 50% as good? Of course not. It doesn't even mean that I'm 20% as good. So it doesn't matter. It's what you do with it. What you do with it. It's not who you learned under. In fact, I'd be more impressed if your teacher was a known con artist, but you got that material and you made it into real. To me, that speaks volumes about you, that you're amazing, that you were able to do that. You're able to turn it around and make it into something legit, so to speak. I'd be way more impressed with that. So, it's not about lineage or teacher, those things. The only reason why I even tell you guys my background, my own background, and my own stories about, challenge matches I've had and stuff like that, is so that you know the source of where this stuff comes from. Because if you want to go further into studying, if you are watching my videos and you're studying from them, and you go, "You know what, Vampire said this, but I feel like he missed out a couple of things, couple of details." Okay, then you know the source. So that way you could look it up. Don't look at my stuff. Look at Professor Remy Presas' stuff. Okay, look at Professor Salam Asli's stuff. Look at Professor Carlos Machado's stuff. Look at their stuff. Study that, and then you'll know that's the material that I studied. So you'll know that, So that's why I list that for studying purposes, not to give me credibility, because it doesn't. It shouldn't. It should, other than a quick surface thing. Other than that, it doesn't do it really, no. And what gives me credibility, okay, what gives me credibility is not me or my teachers. So if I said to you guys, which I have many times, but if I said, I'm a badass, I lived in bad neighborhoods on purpose to test out my system, which I did. Okay, for many years, I did that. For a few years, couple of years, I did that. I lived in bad neighborhoods, test out my system. But that's not why you should listen to me. Okay, that's not what gives me credibility. All right. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to me at all. But what gives me credibility is none of those things. And it has nothing to do with how badass I am. Okay. What it is the material that I present to you today is primarily based off of experiments that I've conducted over the years with my students. Okay? And what's important about that is these experiments, so what I'm presenting to you is the results, my findings off of those experiments. And what's important about those experiments is not if I tell you I did this with my students and this is what had the highest success rate. So was to use a defense bag against the knife, a training knife. It's a simulation is what we did. So in this simulation against the training knife, using the defense bag was the highest success rate. You don't have to believe me. What is important is I showed you how to do it, how to replicate that same experiment. So you go find, training partners and you go do it and tell me, you don't have to tell me, but or tell other people what you found and see, are your results similar to mine? And if they are, then okay, Vampire actually did this and he's sharing it. All right, I can agree to that. Or you might find, no, my results were completely different. I know there's something wrong here. Like you're lying or, something's missing. What's up? Okay. So that's all it is. You don't even have to take my word for it. I'm presenting to you how to replicate these experiments. That is what's important. That's valuable to me. And that's important. Okay. To me, that is super important that I'm doing that. So it's not about trusting me. It's not about believing in me or because Vampire is so badass. If he was on the street, he looks like he could take on all these people. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to. I am showing you what I used in simulation and what worked for me and my students in the simulation. That is what I stand upon. Okay, and my techniques, the defense bag, the force to force blocked, I call that the diamond defense. All that it stands on those experiments. Okay, it doesn't stand on my lineage or how badass I was or how badass my teachers were. Not at all. It stands on that. And that is what you need to do so that you can see what works for you and see what you can actually utilize and find what works, find your own method is based off of those experiments. And once again, I've shared that with you guys. Okay. So to defend your opinions or your work, all this stuff that you've been developing, crafting, your martial craft, to defend it with your lineage, to defend it with how awesome you are, that's to me the wrong path. Show your work, show your experiments, and if not, at least show how to do it. Okay. And then if people are wondering, how did you come up with these experiments? Then you could show your background, your lineage, that kind of thing. So anyway, I hope that helps. That's it for now. Thank you for viewing. Take care, folks.